Hey, it's Luke from LT Gaming, and today we're asking a pretty big question. Will these 14 space games change everything? We're doing things a little differently this time, because rather than simply running through the games, I'm going to rank each one by its potential to deliver a genuinely game-changing experience for the player. I've loosely considered things like development updates, the overall potential of the concept, and just how much hype and excitement each game is already generating. So yeah, we're not taking ourselves too seriously here, we're just having a bit of fun, and hopefully you enjoy it. Let me know in the comments below. Also, we'd really appreciate it if you hit the like button, because we really want to boost these type of space game videos on YouTube. And let's get right into it. C-Beams takes us into a dangerous black hole system for a top-down space action RPG built around weighty physics-driven ship handling. You'll drift through combat, target individual enemy systems, salvage valuable cargo, and gradually turn your vulnerable starter ship into something capable of surviving this hostile frontier. What really excites us is the combination of the Expanse-style space battles with exploration, trading, and RPG progression, because this could really make every journey feel dangerous and every upgrade feel genuinely earned. Now, a rating for C-Beams. To be honest, this is absolutely top tier. It's developed by a YouTuber, Level Cap Gaming, and my recent preview got me really pumped for this one, so it's absolutely S tier. Farlane, which is a game I recently discovered, puts you in command of a battered frontier ship and a 4-person crew trying to survive beyond the crumbling trade routes of a fading galactic empire. You'll take on everything in this one, from bounty hunting and cargo runs to mining, rescue, and salvage. But the real hook is how your ship feels like an actual home. You can walk its interior during autopilot, manage the crew, and even head outside in a spacesuit when repairs cannot be made from within. What excited me about this one when I saw it was the potential for a grounded space sim where the ship, the crew, and the struggle to keep flying matter just as much as what happens in combat. Now, I did reach out to the developer on this one as soon as I found it, but I didn't get a huge amount back, and that's not really his fault. The game is still early in development and he didn't want to show too much off yet. But for that reason, though I am very excited about this, I have to keep it firmly in B tier hype at this time. I think that's fair given what we've seen, but if more comes along, of course we will bump this up the old hype train. It genuinely looks pretty cool, very ambitious, and I'm always happy to see new projects like this one. Make sure to wishlist it to give that developer some more encouragement. B.L.U.E, or Build, Launch, Upgrade, Evolve, is a multiplayer engineering sandbox where every ship is designed by the players before being thrown into physics-driven PvP battles. Mass, engine placement, and maneuvering thrusters directly affect how your creation handles, while power and heat management can turn an over-armed monster into a flying furnace. What excites us is the potential for every victory or spectacular failure to trace back to your own engineering decisions, making experimentation just as important as the combat itself. Multiplayer PvP, I just can't get that excited for this one. Now, it does look pretty cool, and I did see some stuff about it being free, but I could be wrong. Ship engineering just isn't my thing as much as other aspects of space games, and I'm gonna say this for me goes C tier. It was definitely the multiplayer PvP part that really drove this down for me, and of course these ratings are very speculative with the information I have to go on at this time, but it's really just how excited I am about these games in this very moment, and always subject to change once we do our Should You Buy series on the title. Univoyager is aiming to create a true one-to-one scale space sandbox where you can leave a planet, cross a star system, and then land somewhere new without loading screens or hidden shortcuts. Its universe combines realistic orbital physics with more accessible flight controls, while letting you explore, trade, fight, or simply carve out a life among over 100,000 real stars. What excites us is the sheer ambition of an indie project trying to deliver that uninterrupted journey from planetary surface to deep space, while still functioning as an actual game rather than just a technical simulation. This one for us kinda came out of nowhere. I first saw it on Instagram, and they've just released a new trailer, so it must be quite close. I think the ambition is like sky high with this, but I'm gonna go A tier, I think. I'm not quite sure it's gonna get into the S tier just yet. I haven't quite seen enough, and although people in my Discord said it looks like Evercron Legacy on steroids, I'm not quite sure the graphics are up with some of the other games on this list. So if we are just looking at potential impact, I think A tier is fair. NTL No Time Left takes the tension of an FTL-style roguelike and puts you directly in command of a fully 3D capital ship. We just featured this one, and if you want to get in on the playtest, you have to comment on that video. I'm going to pick the winners in the next couple of days, so go and do it now. Hurry up. You'll be managing power between engines, shields, and weapons, deploying drones, managing fires and damaged systems, and using tactical pools to line up attacks during full 360-degree combat. What excites us is how every run can become its own desperate space story, with your your ship build and design decisions shaping both the battles you fight and the encounters you discover across the galaxy. Look, I think me and Tom have a cameo in this, so I'm gonna have to go S tier, of course. There's nothing else I can really say. But no, I'm very happy to back up that rating with the fact that this one has really moved along, and it's great to see him put it into a playtest. This is one of the projects on the list that's becoming very real very quickly, and for that reason, given that it's an FTL in 3D plus the progress that's been made, S tier baby. A quick interlude to say, do you know what would be an absolutely S tier move? Subscribing to LT Gaming. We find all the best games here. You're going to get amazing features and previews, lists where you find amazing games that will bump up your wish list. It's all about games discovery. You won't regret it, and me and Tom greatly appreciate you. If you do it, you're going to go S tier. Blackstar Ranger is a first-person space combat game that straps you into an advanced fighter and sends you across the solar system, completing contracts against pirates, capital ships, and other emerging threats. Its 6 degrees of freedom flight model can switch between assisted controls and Newtonian physics, while HOTAS support physical cockpit displays and projectile-based weapons aim to make every dogfight feel properly immersive. If you've been around LT Gaming long enough, you'll know I'm a fan of that word. What excites us is the focus on delivering a polished, replayable space combat experience, and it's from a solo developer, rather than burying the action beneath an enormous open world sandbox. However, that lack of open world sandbox, which is really my thing, does drag it down a little bit for me. I was stuck between A and B tier on this one because I know a lot of our Discord are really high on it, but when I played the demo there just wasn't enough in this one. I am very impressed by the flight model and everything that goes with that, but I have to say B tier is where it sits currently for me on my hype train. I know some people are going to go wild and say this is absolutely S tier, beautiful thing, but I just don't see it yet. Capital Command puts you in charge of a huge, cumbersome warship battling a rogue AI fleet across a procedurally generated campaign. I have no idea why, but when I wrote the word cumbersome, all I could think of was Benedict Cumberbatch. I don't know what's going on there. Moving swiftly on, you'll command navigation, weapons, repairs, and engineering while managing realistic inertia, firing arcs, fuel, and damage across every engagement. What excites us is the chance to finally feel like the captain of a true capital ship, where positioning and crew management matter just as much as raw firepower. And it's that capital ship management which really drives this one higher, though it's kind of quiet. You don't hear a lot about this game, though I have heard some whispers on the wind about when this is actually going to come, but I can't really say anything at this time. The capital ship angle is of course really strong, but I can't see this going any higher than B tier at the moment because the hype just isn't there. Maybe that's a good thing in this day and age. And then of course it can only really surprise us when it's an S tier game when it comes out. Earth X2 starts you with a tiny rocket company and lets you grow into a spacefaring empire capable of building satellite networks, orbital stations, and colonies across the solar system. In this one, you'll be juggling contracts, design, and the launch of rockets, then automating missions as you spread out across the solar system. You're going to need to then transport resources and need to keep settlements alive on the Moon, Mars, and beyond. What excites us is the ability to cover the entire journey from scrappy startup to multi-planetary civilization without losing that accessible, slightly chaotic tycoon game charm. Not my favourite type of space game, but I will say it does show a lot of potential, and the first game was a real banger. For me at this time, until we see a little bit more, B tier I think. Fragile Existence is a survival-focused space strategy game where Earth has fallen and you command the scattered fleet carrying what remains of humanity. You'll search new systems for resources, establish temporary colonies, and lead ground expeditions, all while keeping your ships crewed, supplied, and one step ahead of the force hunting you. What excites us is how it blends fleet management, planetary RTS battles, and 4X strategy around a constant sense of desperation, where retreating and preserving your people may be more important than winning every fight. No doubt that this game has extreme potential, but it's drifted a bit for me. The communication hasn't been there, and hopefully Hooded Horse can give us an update fairly soon. It is planned for release in 2026, at least that's what it says on the Steam page, but because of this, I have to go C tier at this time. Star Trek Outposts Unknown is a narrative-driven colony builder that sends your crew to establish research facilities across the unexplored Zahari system. You'll choose technologies and buildings, assign officers to dangerous missions, and manage morale while investigating a mysterious cosmic force threatening an entire civilization. What excited me, or at least did before I played the demo, is the chance to experience Star Trek through exploration, science, and leadership, rather than another combat-heavy adaptation with an original 23rd century story unfolding alongside alongside the era of Strange New Worlds. For context, I'm a massive Star Trek fan, have a picture of Captain Kirk from the original series looking at me, and I've never seen Strange New Worlds, so I don't know, I just can't deal with new Trek at all. I was reasonably excited to see a new Star Trek game, and then I played the demo, and it was like a cartoon mess, to be honest. Maybe I didn't give it enough time, and there are people very excited about this, but I'm gonna go F tier on my current hype train. I just don't see it at this time, and it's gonna capture what Star Trek is to me, but of course it does have potential, and it is on this list, so it is a contender really, but I just can't rate it any higher than F, and of course one game had to be there, right? That's the trouble with this. I literally would put all of these games in S because I just love space titles, but I had to be a little bit harsher, and this game really took the fall. Hopefully they proved me wrong. Star Wars Zero Company, I mean even saying it just gives me exciting vibes, finally brings squad-based turn-based tactics into the twilight of the Clone Wars, putting you in command of Hawks and an unconventional team of operatives that can include scoundrels, astromechs and even a Jedi. Between missions you'll customize your squad, develop your abilities and build combat synergies before leading them through tactical operations and investigations where your decisions can change how the campaign unfolds. Yeah, I guess I'm bending the definition of space game a little bit here, but I mean it is Star Wars, so it takes place across a space landscape, so to speak, and I think I did include a Star Trek title, so this one really has to come up. What excites us is a chance to experience Star Wars at a personal but also strategic level, where keeping this unlikely team alive could matter just as much as saving the galaxy. I mean guys, absolutely S tier from me. Originally I did put this list as 12 and I kind of shoehorned in this Star Wars project because, you know, Star Wars and space, it works, right? I just wanted to talk about it. It's an absolutely awesome title, and for me the hype is real, and although at this time I can't really say what our involvement might be with the project, I am incredibly excited to get my hands on a Clone Wars era Star Wars game because they have become some of my favourite novels. But anyway, Star Wars Zero Company, S tier, and this is not the rating you want to mess with. Masada is an open world RTS and RPG set inside a vast, isolated nebula where rival cultures, traders and fleets continue operating whether you intervene or not. I have to credit Tom with finding this one. He is a massive homeworld fan like myself, but he did come across this earlier in the year and featured it. You can command anything from a small pirate squad to huge armadas, customizing every vessel while building your power through exploration, industry and combat. What excites us both here at LT Gaming is the possibility of a genuinely living space sandbox, where you are free to become a warlord, industrial empire or nomadic trader without the universe revolving around you. I mean, a game that looks like Homeworld, which is this ambitious, for me absolutely sits A tier. I think Tom would be arguing it goes S tier, but I haven't had as much contact with this one as him, so for me at this time I'm really happy to slot it in there because it looks absolutely epic, and don't we just deserve a better Homeworld experience than we got from that third title. I tried to play that a year ago, and honestly the story was some of the worst writing I've ever seen in my life, and I'm not even trying to just get likes and comments for that. I tried to like it and I just couldn't, and that was terrible. Falling Frontier is a huge sci-fi RTS where winning a war depends on far more than building the biggest fleet and throwing it into battle. You'll explore procedurally generated star systems, design specialized warships and use scouts, probes and recon to uncover an enemy whose forces may be hidden behind moons or mass near gas giants. Supply lines matter just as much as firepower, opening the door to blockades, ambushes and raids that can cripple a stronger empire without facing it head on. What excites us is the potential for a space strategy game where intelligence, logistics and individual ship crews create genuine stories, rather than every conflict becoming another giant fleet smashing into a second giant fleet. My impact rating for Falling Frontier, this game is absolutely S tier in its potential, but the long wait times, and yes I see all the comments, don't worry, has me thinking it needs to sit slightly lower. I will say the dev has never taken any money off anybody, so I don't know why people get so passionately angry about this one, and Tom's recent FAQ has me very encouraged we're going to see something on this soon. This has to go A tier, only really brought down from S by the fact that we just are still waiting. Starship Simulator is trying to deliver the ultimate deep space exploration fantasy, though I do think some people's definition of fantasy might be different to mine, but maybe my definition should never be made public. It's definitely partly fulfilled by the Star Wars Interworlds mod for X4 Foundations though, I will say that. This one gives you unrestricted access to every deck and working system aboard a scientifically plausible starship. You'll help manage massive crews, maintain the vessel, investigate alien worlds, and take on specialised roles ranging from captain and engineer to doctor or science officer. What of course excites us about this one is the scale of its ambition, a fully simulated ship travelling through a realistic Milky Way, which looks a little bit like Star Trek. I never meant to say that. Can I retract that somehow? But we all know that it does. But if they can deliver that sheer joy of living and working on a vessel that takes you across the stars, then this will be one of the best space games ever made. On sheer potential, even though I'm not quite sure when this game will ever come, I have to put this in S tier. There's just no other way around that, so yeah, we're gonna have to deal with it.